I didn't plan on walking out of my own celebration. I didn't plan on packing a bag and leaving the apartment I shared with my girlfriend of 3 years. And I definitely didn't plan on learning what peace felt like inside a descending elevator, the doors closing on a woman who had just told me, loudly, that I should use the exit if I had a problem. But looking back, everything that happened to me started long before that rooftop. It started the first time she told me I was too sensitive. It started the first time I swallowed discomfort so she wouldn't roll her eyes. It started the first time I apologized just to keep the night from derailing. It started with small things, boundary breaches in miniature. The way she would grip a bartender's forearm and lean in close like she was sharing a secret. The way she'd whisper in DJ's ears and then glance back at me like, relax, it's harmless. The way she'd call me jealous whenever I tried to tell her something didn't feel right, and every time I believed her. Or maybe I just believed I was the problem. Tori was sunshine. I was the quiet kid who learned early that quietness isn't a superpower, it's something people will tell you to work on. She filled rooms with sound. I filled them with presence. She sparkled. I blended. Opposites attract, they say. But sometimes opposites don't attract, they consume. The night everything snapped wasn't some dramatic, slow-motion confrontation. It wasn't cheating or screaming or catching someone in a lie. It was one sentence. One sentence that unstitched 3 years of trying, of forgiving, of hoping she'd eventually see the version of me I tried to be for her. Nobody's holding you hostage, Lucas. You know where the exit is. Funny how a single sentence can ring louder than speakers meant to fill a rooftop. Let me back up. That Friday was supposed to be one of the biggest nights of my life. I'm a back-end developer, quiet, logical, the type who finds comfort in clean code and predictable systems. For almost 2 years, I'd been working toward a promotion to tech lead. Late nights, early mornings, carrying other people's slack, smoothing over rough edges in projects so no one got burned. When my team finally got the green light for my promotion, Ben, my team lead, decided to throw a rooftop get-together at his apartment building to celebrate. I told Tori about it weeks in advance. She'd said she was excited, said she couldn't wait to finally meet my coworkers, show them the fun version of me, whatever that meant. I think part of me wanted her to see how my world worked too, quiet, steady, structured, and understand that stability wasn't a flaw. But from the moment she stepped onto the rooftop, I felt something in me tighten. She walked in a red dress that glittered beneath the string lights, immediately drawing every eye in a 10-foot radius. That part never bothered me. She was beautiful and confident, and I always admired that. What bothered me was how fast she slipped into her other mode, the one where I stopped existing. One moment she was by my side, the next she was laughing loudly at something Ben said, leaning close to look at an app he was building, touching his shoulder casually as if they'd been friends for 10 years instead of 10 seconds. It was fine, I shook it off. It was her personality, I told myself. She was social. She was extroverted. She'd calm down once she got comfortable. Then Miles showed up. He was Ben's neighbor, a musician with tattoos down his arms and soft hands that looked like they'd never typed a line of code in their life. I recognized him instantly. Oh my God, you're the guy from the Foxhole Bar. You played the acoustic version of that song. Her voice jumped half an octave, and suddenly her whole body language changed. She touched his arm. She touched his shoulder. She inserted herself into his bubble like it belonged to her. I stood there holding 2 drinks, looking like the world's dumbest coat rack. At first, I told myself she was just excited. She loved creative people, musicians especially. But then she started taking photos with him, photos with her hand on his waist, pressing close like they were posing for an album cover. I felt heat rise into my face, that familiar mix of embarrassment and something darker. I tried to be logical about it, approach it gently. I leaned in, kept my voice low. Hey, can we talk for a second? She didn't even look at me. Why? She sounded irritated. Just 2 minutes. Can we step outside? No, Lucas, for what now? Her voice rose. People glanced. My chest tightened. Tori, please, just 2 min. Oh my God. She laughed sharply. Let me guess. You have a problem with me talking to Miles. Tori, come on, please don't do this here. She folded her arms, looked at me like I was a child interrupting grown-up time. If me just existing bothers you that much, nobody's holding you hostage, Lucas. You know where the exit is. Her voice echoed, louder than the music, louder than anything I'd ever heard from her. The rooftop stilled. Ben froze mid-conversation. Priya lowered her drink. Miles looked like he wanted to evaporate, and me, I felt something inside me unclench, or maybe it cracked. For 3 years, I'd lived in a house built on eggshells. For 3 years, I'd convinced myself that I misunderstood, overreacted, expected too much. For 3 years, every time she hurt me, I apologized for bleeding. But in that moment, with her arms crossed and her eyebrows raised and her voice weaponized against me in front of my team, I saw everything clearly. Not anger, not guilt, just clarity, so I set my drink down. Thanks, I said softly, thanks for being clear. and I walked toward the elevator. She didn't follow, she didn't call after me, she just stared. Maybe she thought I'd come back, maybe she thought she'd won. But when the elevator doors closed and the rooftop disappeared behind me, I didn't feel shame. I felt relief. The kind that fills a vacuum you didn't know existed. The kind that whispers, finally. I got home, threw some clothes into a backpack, grabbed my laptop, my essentials. I wasn't thinking, just moving on instinct. When I closed the apartment door behind me, it didn't even click with the same sound it usually did. It sounded lighter. I called Marco, my best friend. "Hey," I said, voice breaking in a way I didn't expect. "Can I crash at your place?" He didn't ask anything, not one question. "Be down in 10, he said. He pulled up in 8. That's when it sank in. I wasn't just leaving a party. I was leaving a relationship. And when Tori got home at 2 a.m., pounding my phone with messages. "What are you doing? This is ridiculous, Lucas. Come home. Stop being dramatic. You're destroying everything over one comment." I typed one sentence back. "You told me nobody was holding me hostage and the exit was right there, so I used it." I turned my phone over. And for the first time in 3 years, I slept. When I walked out of that rooftop, I thought the hard part was over. It wasn't. Leaving is never the hardest part. It's what comes after: the noise, the explanations, the rewriting, the accusations, the guilt people try to plant in the cracks of your doubt. Saturday morning, my phone was a battlefield. Missed calls, 23 texts, paragraphs alternating between anger and desperation like she was spinning a wheel. "You're being ridiculous. Come home, Lucas. This is so immature. I didn't mean it. You know I didn't mean it. If you loved me, you wouldn't be doing this. Why are you ruining us over nothing? Answer me." I didn't. Marco made pancakes. I stared at them like they'd arrived from another dimension. "You look like you got hit by a truck," he said. "I feel like I stepped out of one," I muttered. He sipped his coffee and shrugged. "Good, maybe now you can start walking like a free man." I didn't understand what he meant, not really. Not yet. On Sunday, Tori showed up at Marco's apartment. She didn't knock like a normal person. She pounded. Marco opened the door, his whole 6'3" paramedic frame blocking 100% of her access. "Tori," he said flatly. "I need to see him," she cried. "Please, it's an emergency." Marco didn't blink. "I deal with actual emergencies. This isn't one. I just need 2 minutes, Lucas." "Lucas, please." I stayed in the hallway, out of sight. Part of me wanted to go to the door. Habit mostly. 3 years of responding to her tears like they were summons from a deity. But I didn't move. Marco shook his head. "He doesn't want to talk to you. Go home." She tried to push past him. He didn't budge. Eventually, she gave up, stumbling back into the night like someone fleeing the scene of a crime they still didn't understand. When the door closed, Marco turned to me. 3 years, man," he said quietly. 3 years I've been waiting for you to stop letting her walk over you." I didn't know whether to feel grateful or humiliated. Both landed. Monday morning at work was the first time it hit me. People had heard her. People had seen everything. Ben cornered me at the coffee machine. "Hey," he said, eyes soft, "just so you know, what she said, that wasn't okay." At all. I froze. He glanced around, lowered his voice. "I don't want to pry, but everyone saw how she talked to you. You handled it better than most would have." I swallowed. It felt like trying to swallow gravel. Back at my desk, a Slack notification popped up. "Priya, I thought you were going to stay and take it." When you walked to that elevator, I literally thought, finally, finally. That word echoed. It meant they saw it, the dynamic, the imbalance. The disrespect. They saw it even when I couldn't. Part of me was relieved. Another part was ashamed that the kindness I kept trying to give Tori hadn't been kindness at all. It was self-erasure masquerading as loyalty. But then things got messy. Of course they did. Tori started posting Instagram stories, all black and white filtered, all melodramatic, all designed to cast me as the villain in her 3-act tragedy. 3 years gone because he walked away when I needed him. Sometimes the one you love the most is the one who abandons you. He couldn't handle me being myself. Nothing about what she actually said. Nothing about the rooftop. Nothing about telling me to use the exit. Just a curated narrative to her followers, the ones who thought vulnerability meant posting a crying selfie. And if it had stopped there, maybe I would have let it go. But then she posted. He isolated me. He didn't let me have guy friends. I didn't realize how controlling he was until now. I stared at the screen so long my eyes hurt. I wasn't angry, just empty. She was trying to rewrite our entire relationship in 24 hours, and it might have worked if no one else had been there. Priya was the first to clap back. She commented directly under Tori's story before it disappeared. "Tori, I was literally standing next to you. He asked to talk privately. You raised your voice. You told him he wasn't being held hostage. Don't twist this." Then Ben left one. "Just to clarify, Lucas didn't make a scene." "You did," and then unbelievably Miles chimed in. "Not sure if this is about Lucas, but if it is, I saw the whole thing. He wasn't controlling, he was polite. You yelled. Maybe take accountability." Tori deleted everything within an hour, but screenshots spread faster than mold in a damp bathroom. While her narrative crumbled, reality hit her in another way. I stopped paying for her life, literally. Her internet down, her car insurance dropped from my plan, her rates doubled. Her Spotify, Hulu, Apple Music gone, her phone plan removed. She texted me, "Did you seriously cut off my internet? That's petty." I responded, "I stopped paying for services I don't use. Adults pay their own bills, nothing more, nothing less." But the real earthquake hit when our landlord emailed. I informed him I'd be moving out when the lease ended, paying my share until then. Meaning Tori had 6 weeks to get a roommate, pay full rent, move, her problem now. 30 minutes later she texted, "You're making things financially hard for me, on purpose." I didn't respond because I suddenly realized something. She was experiencing natural consequences, not revenge, not punishment. Just the weight of responsibility she'd always placed on me. For the first time, she was carrying her own end of the rope, and she didn't like how heavy it was. The next 2 days were quiet, too quiet. Tori's Instagram went silent. Her friends stopped texting. Her group chat probably had the energy of a dying engine. I thought it was over. I was wrong. Thursday morning, my phone buzzed with a message from the building's front desk. A woman named Tori is asking to come up. Says she's your fiancé. Fiancé. We were never engaged. The lie tasted familiar. I took the elevator down, heart hammering. She stood in the lobby in a beige coat, clutching a tote bag like it held her dignity. "We need to talk," she said softly. "We don't," I said. "5 minutes, Lucas, please." "No." Her eyes filled. "I'm begging you." "Then beg from a distance," I said, "because if you grab my arm again, I'm calling security." Her mouth fell open. She stepped back like she didn't recognize me. I didn't recognize myself either, but I liked this version more. She left crying. I didn't follow. This time the guilt didn't come, not even a flicker. Instead, there was something new. Something quiet, something steady, a boundary. When she couldn't cross anymore, I thought that would be the end. But Friday brought something I never expected, retaliation from her, and from someone I didn't expect, someone I barely knew. I honestly believed the rooftop scene was rock bottom. Turns out rock bottom has trap doors. Friday morning, the office was quiet, that soft hum of keyboards and stale coffee air. I was catching up on Jira tickets when I got a call from the front desk. The receptionist whispered like she was reporting a crime. "Lucas, your girlfriend is here, says it's urgent." My stomach dropped. I actually laughed under my breath. Not because it was funny, because I'd run out of other reactions. "I'll be right down," I said. When the elevator doors opened, there she was, Tori, fresh makeup, tear-glossed eyes. Hair curled like she hoped this would be a reunion moment in a rom-com. But the moment my foot hit the lobby floor, I saw someone else standing beside her. Someone from my company, Sarah, HR business partner. Professional peacemaker, corporate Switzerland. Oh hell, Tori smiled like she had backup now. "Lucas," she breathed, "we really need to talk." I eyed Sarah. "Why are you here?" Sarah shifted awkwardly. "Tori told me you two were having a misunderstanding and she didn't feel safe speaking privately. She asked if I could mediate." And right there, right in that sentence, I felt the whole setup click into place. Tori wasn't here to talk, she was here to win, to reframe the narrative, to rope a neutral witness into her version, to make me look like the unreasonable one. It wasn't about closure, it was about control. I kept my voice calm. "Okay," I said, "then let's do this right. We'll talk here in public." Tori blinked. She hadn't expected that. Sarah nodded approvingly. "Okay, let's keep it civil." I crossed my arms. "Tori, why are you at my office again after I asked you not to come?" She inhaled dramatically, the pre-cry breath. "You left me when I was struggling with anxiety. You abandoned me without a single conversation. You cut me off financially. You left me alone when I needed you." Her voice trembled, her hands shook. It was a convincing performance. If I didn't know her, I would have believed it. But Sarah wasn't nodding sympathetically. She was just watching, waiting, evaluating, so I told the truth calmly, cleanly, without decoration. "I didn't abandon you. You told me loudly that nobody was holding me hostage and I could use the exit if I had a problem." Sarah blinked. Tori stiffened. I kept going. "You said it in front of my coworkers. You humiliated me at an event that was supposed to celebrate my promotion." Sarah's eyebrows lifted. "Tori," she asked, "did you say those exact words?" "Well," Tori stammered, "what I meant was, I didn't ask what you meant." Sarah cut in gently. "I asked what you said." Tori flushed scarlet. She opened and closed her mouth like a fish. Yes, but he's twisting it." I shook my head. "I'm not twisting anything. You screamed it. Miles heard it. Ben heard it. Priya heard it. Half the rooftop heard it." Sarah's face changed. Went from neutral to something sharper. "Okay," she said slowly. "Then that's not a misunderstanding. That's a boundary, and he respected it." Tori's eyes widened. "You're taking his side." "I'm taking the side of facts," Sarah replied. And then, for the first time since all this started, I felt protected. Tori scrambled, switching tactics like someone flipping through a broken playbook. "You're being cruel," she sobbed. "You won't talk to me. You won't let me explain. You won't work on the relationship. You cancel the bills, you cancel the lease." "So," Sarah interrupted, "you came to his workplace twice." I had no choice, Tori cried. Yes, Sarah said firmly. You did. You had many choices. And none of them included showing up here. Tori looked blindsided. Sarah turned to me. Lucas, if she comes again, tell HR. This isn't a relationship issue anymore. This is harassment. The room tilted slightly. Harassment. That was a big word, a heavy one, and for the first time I saw Tori flinch like the word physically hit her. She recovered quickly, too quickly, lunging toward me. Lucas, please, I love you. I can fix this. Just let me talk to you alone. No, I said. She reached for my arm. I stepped back. Tori, Sarah warned, stop. Security showed up a moment later, 2 guards in navy jackets. Is there a problem here? I pointed at Tori. She's trespassing. She needs to leave. Tori stared at me like I'd stabbed her. You're really doing this, she whispered. You're really choosing them over me. I didn't answer. Because choosing myself wasn't actually choosing them. It was choosing peace. Security escorted her out. Her sobs echoed through the glass doors as they closed behind her. I stood there in the silence, shaking slightly, adrenaline like a second pulse in my throat. Sarah touched my arm lightly. You handled that well, she said, and for what it's worth, I'm glad you got out. I nodded. I didn't trust my voice. I went back upstairs. My coworkers pretended not to stare, but everyone knew. I sat at my desk, opened my laptop, stared at the code I was supposed to write, and for the first time since I left the rooftop, I felt something like freedom. Not the dramatic, cinematic kind, the quiet kind, the kind that feels like an exhale you've been holding for 3 years. That evening I toured a new apartment, small, warm lighting, hardwood floors. One window that looked out over a street lined with restaurants and flower carts. The kind of place that felt like it had never held a fight, never heard yelling, never been a stage for manipulation. The leasing agent handed me the paperwork. So, what do you think? I didn't hesitate. I'll take it. As I signed, a thought hit me. This was the first decision I'd made in a long time that Tori didn't influence, didn't guilt. Didn't manipulate, didn't veto. It felt clean, like stepping into a room with fresh air. When I told Marco, he slapped my shoulder hard enough to hurt. About damn time, he said. You've been breathing second-hand smoke for years. Now you get clean air, and for the first time I believed him. But I should have known Tori wouldn't go quietly, not after losing control, not after losing the narrative. And definitely not after seeing me climb out of the space she'd built around me, because she wasn't done yet, not even close. That's when she reached for the one place she still had access to, my dating life. I wish I could say the story ended at the lobby incident, that she left me alone, that she accepted reality and moved on, but manipulators don't retreat quietly. They regroup, and Tori regrouped faster than I expected. A few weeks after the office scene, something unexpected happened. I met someone. It wasn't planned. I wasn't looking. I was still unpacking boxes in my new apartment when Priya invited me to a birthday dinner for one of her design school friends. I almost didn't go, but I said yes, maybe because I wanted some proof that life existed beyond the wreckage Tori left. That's where I met Ashley, data analyst, soft-spoken but sharp, warm in that way that doesn't perform. Laughs like she means it, listens like she's not waiting for her turn to speak. We talked about books and weird coworkers and how she once dropped her entire laptop in the bathtub while watching a cooking tutorial. It was easy. The kind of easy I forgot relationships were supposed to feel like. We went out 3 times, then 5, then 6, nothing heavy, nothing rushed, just honest. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was walking across a floor covered in emotional tripwires. Then on a random Tuesday afternoon, I got the text. Ashley, hey, can we meet later? I need to talk to you. My stomach dropped. The tone said everything. I met her at a coffee shop. She looked nervous, eyes flicking down, fingers tapping her cup. And then, Lucas, did you really abandon your ex when she was struggling with her mental health? And were you controlling about who she could be friends with? I felt the world tilt. What? Where is this coming from? Ashley took a breath. Tori messaged me last night, cold. I went cold instantly. Ashley continued softly. She sent screenshots, texts, voice messages. She said you isolated her. That she couldn't breathe in the relationship, that you disappeared without warning. My jaw clenched. Can I see what she sent? Ashley nodded and handed me her phone. And there it was, weaponized fiction. Tori had taken real texts between us, cropped them into new meanings, and narrated the rest in crying voice notes. Her voice full of tremble and victimhood, a text I wrote saying, I'm not comfortable with you going to his party. That was true, but what she cropped out was the part explaining why. The part where her ex had been sending her drunk messages begging her to finally leave that quiet guy. She cut that out. Another screenshot, I feel like you don't care how I feel. She used it as proof that I was emotionally demanding, while hiding the part of the conversation where she dismissed something that hurt me and laughed it off. The manipulation was surgical, professional. She didn't even lie directly, she orchestrated the truth into something unrecognizable. If I hadn't lived it, I might have believed her too. Ashley watched me carefully like she was bracing for my anger. I didn't get angry. I got tired, so tired my bones felt hollow. Ashley, I said quietly, I'm going to tell you everything. But before I do, I need you to know something. What? She's done this before, twisting things until she can pass herself off as the victim. I spent 3 years thinking I was the unstable one. You deserve the truth, and I'm ready to show you all of it. And I did, everything, the rooftop, the humiliation, the exact quote, nobody's holding you hostage, you know where the exit is, her meltdown at work, her lies online, her attempts to rewrite history. Then I pulled out my phone. I had something I never showed anyone, not even Marco, screenshots, full conversations, full context. The parts Tori conveniently deleted when she sent her curated version to Ashley. Ashley read quietly, her face softened, then tightened, then softened again. Oh my God, she whispered. Lucas, she lied to me. She deliberately lied. No, I corrected gently. She constructed a performance. She's always been better at narratives than reality. Ashley looked up at me, guilt clouding her expression. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have believed her so quickly. No, I said, you did the right thing. If an ex reaches out with warnings, you should pay attention. You asked instead of assuming, that's what matters. She exhaled shakily. So what are you going to do? That was the moment something in me settled. Not anger, not revenge, clarity. I'm going to put an end to this, I said, a real one. That night, I did something I never thought I'd do. I posted. I didn't name her, I didn't need to. Everyone connected to the situation would understand instantly. I wrote, PSA, if my ex reaches out to anyone I'm dating or friends with, please know, she is leaving out context. I have full screenshots of every conversation she might crop. Witnesses can confirm what actually happened that night. I left because she told me publicly to use the exit if I had a problem, so I did. Months later, contacting new partners is not concern, it's harassment. This is the only time I'll address this. Boundaries exist for a reason. Then, for the first time in my life, I tagged people, Ben, Priya, Miles, why? Because I knew they were witnesses, and I knew Tora hated one thing more than being ignored, being outnumbered by truth. I closed the app, didn't think much more about it, but Instagram had other plans. Within 30 minutes, my notifications erupted like a grenade. Ben, can confirm, Priya, receipts don't lie. Miles, the musician she flirted with at the rooftop, left the comment that ended everything, for clarity. She didn't mention having a boyfriend. He asked calmly to talk. She yelled. She told him to leave, then called him insecure. The narrative she's pushing is false. A kill shot. Tori deleted her account for the night. But social media has a long memory. Someone posted a TikTok, POV. You told your boyfriend the exit was right there, so he left. Now you're trying to ruin his next relationship. 200,000 views. 40,000 likes, comments like, she wanted him to leave, then got mad that he listened. Classic manipulator move. She didn't lose him, she pushed him. By morning, she had to turn off her comments on everything. Her brand, her precious influencer persona, took the hit she never saw coming. Not because I fought her, but because the truth walked out holding a spotlight. Ashley and I met again that weekend. She brought me coffee, the exact same latte I always order. I'm sorry, she said, not for asking questions, but for thinking even for 1 second that you could be the man she described. You were being cautious, I said. That's a good thing, she smiled, a real one. So where does this leave us? I took a slow breath. Wherever you want it to, I answered, but if I'm being honest, I still want to see where this goes. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Me too, she said. It was gentle, it was warm, it was honest, everything Tori wasn't. A mutual friend told me later what happened on Tori's end. Brands paused her sponsorships. Followers dropped by thousands. Her own friends confronted her about the manipulation. She had to private every account she owned. And then she tried to post an apology video, but with comments off, no one cared. No audience, no validation, just silence. The one thing she never knew how to live in. I blocked her everywhere. Ashley did too. My apartment is quiet now, not empty quiet, but peaceful quiet. Marco brought chili the first night I stayed there. Priya brought a plant I'm trying not to kill. Ashley brought softness I didn't know I'd been missing. I've been sleeping better than I have in years. No more waking up to accusations. No more walking on eggshells. No more shrinking myself so someone else could feel bigger. I finally stepped through the exit she pointed at, and I never looked back. Last night, Ashley and I went hiking. Halfway up the trail, she looked over at me and said, "You know it takes a lot of strength to leave someone who keeps moving the finish line." I didn't respond right away. Then I said softly, "It wasn't strength, it was exhaustion." She smiled gently. "Either way, you made it out," and she was right, I did. Maybe for the first time in a long time, I actually chose myself, and that choice changed everything.